Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope your day and your week are off to a fantastic start. Hope you guys enjoyed the Easter holiday yesterday, had some good food, enjoyed time with family and loved ones. We've got a new day, which of course means a new MLB player prop video to give to you guys today. I've got 7 player props to hand out, 7 props for today's slate that I'm very excited to share with you guys. But first, as always, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, drop a comment down below, all that good stuff. We are on the road to 100,000 subscribers. We are more than 60% of the way there. And when you hit that subscribe button down below, you help us get there just a little bit sooner. Also, happy first of the month, everybody. Today is Monday, April 1st. If you watch my videos, you'll know 2 things. Number 1, of course, not really a surprise, I am Greek. If the name didn't give it away, probably all the 1,000 times I've told you about being Greek gave it away. I am Greek. Number 2, at the beginning of every month, we have a saying in Greek, "Kalo mina," which loosely translates to just good month. But it basically means have a good month. We say it to each other at the beginning of every month in Greek culture. So comment "Kalo mina" down below in the comment section, KALOMINA, Kalo mina. Let's have a great month this month. Let's win a ton of units, win a bunch of money, hit our bets, all that good stuff. April, it feels like our month. We're off to a fantastic start to the MLB season so far, a 13-6 run to start off the year. Not too bad. Let's carry that positive momentum into today's video. Again, 7 player props for today's slate of games. We're still being a little more cautious, but now that we have a few games under our belt, data is starting to present itself to us. So, looking forward to today's slate. Let's dive right in. All right, guys, starting off the first prop from today's slate, we are targeting the Atlanta Braves Chicago White Sox game. First pitch at 2:10 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going with Matt Olson of the Atlanta Braves over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. He's over to the Outlier screen now, guys. You know what Outlier is. They are the best sports betting tool in the market. And yes, I finally switched it to dark theme. I don't know why I was in light theme for so long, but we're into dark theme now. Hopefully you guys prefer that over the light theme here. But Outlier is a fantastic sports betting tool, especially when it comes to baseball. There is so much data. If you watch my MLB player prop videos or my NBA prop videos, there's so much information here. It consolidates all the sports betting data that you need to make your picks in baseball more than any other sport. It's super analytical. It's really important to have a tool like this by your side. We do offer a special link in the description below that gives you guys a 7-day free trial to check it out. You have nothing to lose. Try it for 7 days. If you like it, you subscribe, you keep using it. Fantastic. If not, you don't use it and you just keep watching the videos for the information. But it is a valuable tool. I give you guys just a handful of picks per day. There's so many picks. There's props available for over 200 players here for today's slate for MLB. I'm only giving you 7. So it is worth checking out on your own. And one more time, guys, link in the description below, 7-day free trial to check it out for yourself. All right, guys, so here we go. Matt Olson over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs is available on multiple sportsbooks. We're getting this on DraftKings for minus 135 odds. It is available on BetMGM. I told you guys, BetMGM and DraftKings, they're the 2 best sportsbooks right now out there for MLB props. Prize Picks and Underdog, also very good. Again, we're still ignoring the last 10 game data. By next week, we're gonna start looking at last 10 data for our props. But again, you look at here, only 3 games he's played this year, so a lot of this is still dating back to last season. For Matt Olson, including some playoff games in there. So we're not really looking at that data. What we're looking for is head-to-head data and 2024 data so far. So you see here, his last 3 matchups with the Chicago White Sox, again, all dating back to last season, but in his last 3 meetings, he has cashed this over with an average of 3.67 hits plus runs plus RBIs per game. He's only played 3 games so far this year, but he has cashed the over in 2 out of 3 games with an average of 3.33 hits plus runs plus RBIs per game. He had a really big game on opening day versus Philly. Decent game the second day, and then the last game versus Philly yesterday, not too great. You look at his entire 2023 season last year, he hit this at a 62% hit rate, averaging 2.67 hits plus runs plus RBIs per game last season. And you scroll down here to the matchup, and you see here Matt Olson has had 15 plate appearances versus Chris Flexen since 2018, a 333 batting average with a 333, OBP. You see 5 hits, no home runs, RBI. Strikeout percentage is pretty low. Again, not bad data there for Matt Olson. You see him last year overall had a 283 batting average, but versus right-handed pitchers, that does go up a little bit to 294. So he's a slightly better hitter versus right-handed pitchers. Now, Flexen, his numbers do drop actually versus left-handed batters, but it's still not great. I mean, a 3.86 ERA is not terrible, but he does give up a 282 batting average there versus left-handed batters. His numbers normally, it's not really good. 6.86 ERA, 317 batting average here for Flexen. Overall, the data is pretty decent. I like the prop. All right, guys, the second prop of today's slate, we are switching gears over to the Pirates-Nationals game. First pitch at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going with O'Neal Cruz of the Pittsburgh Pirates over a half total bases. Again, this prop's available on Caesars. We're getting on DraftKings at -145, BetMGM, and Underdog here. Again, ignoring the last 10 data. Now, there is no head-to-head data for O'Neal Cruz, but in 2024 so far, he has cashed this over all 3 games this season. O'Neal Cruz only played 9 games last year for the Pittsburgh Pirates, but he did hit this in 78% hit rate, 7 of his 9 games last year, with an average of 1.33 total bases per game. Again, a small sample size with O'Neal Cruz, but it's a solid sample size. 78% hit rate last year. So far, 100% hit rate this year, averaging 2.67 total bases per game so far this year. And again, it's kind of tough here because you see O'Neal Cruz, the data, there's just not a lot to go. He only had 40 plate appearances last year in total, but in 7 plate appearances versus left-handed pitchers, he had a 600 batting average. Overall, the data is pretty good. 3 total bases. Overall, pretty decent data there for O'Neal Cruz. Again, very, very, very small sample size, but not too bad there for O'Neal Cruz. And look at Mackenzie Gore, the matchup versus Mackenzie Gore here. Versus left-handed batters, you see overall a 4.42 ERA. Versus left-handed batters, that ERA actually dropped significantly to 2.96, which is actually pretty good. But we're not really worried about the ERA here. We're looking at batting average and stuff like that. Look at the batting average. It jumps from 258 to 319. So although his ERA went down, his hits allowed, his batting average allowed, went up significantly versus left-handed batters and 132 batters faced. So again, not a huge sample size there, but a decent size one for Mackenzie Gore. Slugging percentage goes to 478. Extra base hit percentage does go down, but again, we only need a single cashes us this bet. A walk cashes us this bet. All he has to do is get on base once, and we are good to go. So overall, I like the spot here for O'Neal Cruz. Actually, I don't know what I was saying there. Walks don't get total bases. For people who are new to baseball betting, total bases, I'm sorry, I don't know why I let that slip out. Walks don't count. It's gotta be either a single, double, triple home run. It's gotta be a hit that gets you on base for total bases. Okay, here we go, guys. Third prop of today's slate here, going over to the Royals-Orioles game, 6:35 p.m. first pitch. MJ Melendez of the Kansas City Royals over half total base. Again, available DraftKings, Caesars, BetMGM, and Underdogs, pretty much -145 odds across the board there. You look at 2024 so far, 100% hit rate all 3 games this year. He has cashed this over with an average of 2 total bases per game. Look at the head-to-head matchup. 5 of his last 6 games versus the Baltimore Orioles. Of course, this is all dating back to last year. But in 5 of his last 6 games, he cashed this over with an average of 2 total bases per game. With a couple big games there. You see there on May 4th of last year, he had 5 total bases. May 2nd, 4 total bases. Now, not a ton of experience versus Dean Kremer, but overall, pretty good data last year. 235 batting average. Not great, but not bad. His batting average does slightly increase versus right-handed pitches, but it's practically the same. Extra base hit percentage, 44%. That's pretty good. But you look at Dean Kremer here versus left-handed batters. His ERA jumps from 4.12 to 4.70. His batting average jumps up. His slugging percentage jumps up. His extra base hit percentage jumps up. So Dean Kremer's numbers all jump up versus left-handed batters. And although Melendez, his numbers aren't fantastic, again, 239 batting average last year versus right-handed pitchers. Dean Kremer significantly weaker versus left-handed batters. I think that matchup there means something. And look, although his batting average wasn't great, his on base, he gets on base. Somehow he finds a way. 1.43 average total bases per game last year, despite having just a 235 overall batting average, is pretty good. A 63% hit rate last year, 93 out of 148 games. He cashed this over. I'm basically betting matchup here. I think Kremer's going to let Melendez get on base, get a base hit at least once in this game. I think Melendez will take advantage of the matchup here. All right, our fourth prop of today's slate, we're switching over to the Reds-Phillies game, which has a 6:40 p.m. first pitch. We're going Spencer Steer of the Cincinnati Reds over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. I have a feeling the Reds are going to be a really fun team to watch this year. They're already off to a decent start to this season. It's been really fun watching. I have a friend whose dad is a really diehard Reds fan. I know he's really amped about this season. They're going to be a fun team to watch, I think, this year for sure. In 2024, so far, 2 out of 3 games he's cashed this over with some pretty big games. You see there, 2 runs, 2 hits, 2 RBIs on the opening day matchup versus Washington. Their last game yesterday, he had two hits, 1 run, 1 RBI versus the Nationals. Now, granted, it's only the Nationals, and they're not really, a model of success in the MLB right now. I mean, I know they won a World Series a few years ago, but obviously they're in a full rebuild mode. It's going to be a while before Washington, I think, is super relevant again. You see here the head-to-head matchup, 5 of his last 7 games versus the Phillies here. He has cashes over with an average of 2.14 hits plus runs plus RBIs per game versus Philadelphia. And again, you scroll down here, the matchup is really good. You see Spencer Steer last year, overall a 271 batting average, but versus left-handed pitchers, it gets a lot better. It jumps up to 312 batting average, 50 hits, 25 runs, 33 RBIs. You see here the data overall gets a little bit better when he goes up versus left-handed pitchers. And on the flip side there, Christopher Sanchez, a left-handed pitcher, his percentage versus right-handed batters gets worse. He goes from a 3.44 ERA to a 4.16. His batting average allowed jumps from 235 to 260. You see here all the numbers go up for Christopher Sanchez versus right-handed batters. So I really like the matchup here. And again, Spencer Steer's off to a solid start to this season. Again, like I said, 2 out of 3 games so far this year's cashes over. 5 of his last 7 matchups with the Phillies. We don't see any specific head-to-head data from Steer versus Sanchez, but I do like the spot here for Spencer Steer. All right, guys, we have 3 props left for today's slate. Again, I talked about it on Saturday's video. Comment hashtag ride of the day. Comment your pick. I will post. I know I apologize on Saturday. I didn't end up posting the picks. Unfortunately, work kind of got crazy. I didn't have a chance to. Here's what I'm going to do. Instead of actually just posting the picks in a pinned comment, somebody in the comments recommended this. I'm going to do this. You can actually share your outlier bet slip with people. So I'm going to post a link to my outlier bet slip in the pinned comment. And along with that bet slip, I will also post the hashtag ride of the day for today's slate. I'll make sure I get that out before the start of today's games here. Now, here we go. Fifth prop. Sorry, I had a little bit of a brain fart there. 5th prop of today's slate here. We're going with the Red Sox-A's game. First pitch, 9:40 p.m. Eastern time. We're going with Tristan Casas of the Red Sox over a half total base. Again, these sportsbooks keep popping up. DraftKings, BetMGM, they're the 2 best. FanDuel, I'm telling you guys, FanDuel is good for football. It's good for football. That's about all it's good for, in my opinion here. Casas, the data is not fantastic here. You see, in 4 games this year, in those 4-game series with Seattle, he only covered this line once. Kind of a slow start to the season for Casas. It's a risky bet, I get it, but I think he's due to get a base here. You see here in the head-to-head matchup, he cashed this in 4 of his last 5 meetings with the Oakland A's, an average of 1.4 total bases per game. It's fine. We only need him to get 1 total base. We don't need him to go crazy here. And the matchup is solid here. Tristan Casas last year, 263 batting average overall. Versus right-handed pitchers, though, it just jumped a little bit to a 274, batting average there. You see the data, for the most part, goes up. His extra base hit percentage does go down a little bit, but overall, you see his numbers do rise a little bit versus right-handed pitchers. Now, Joe Boyle, it's tough to get a read on. You see the numbers. Now, if you look at first glance, you'd be like, holy shit, this guy's incredible. The sample size is very small. He only started 2 games last year for Oakland. Or he only had a 2-0 record, I should say. He started or appeared in a couple other moments there, but overall 2-0 record last season. He faced 60 batters last year, had a 1.69 ERA, a 148 batting average, although his extra base hit percentage was 50%. It's pretty high there. Slugging percentage, not great, but not terrible. Now, versus left-handed batters, again, it's a small sample size. Only 22 batters faced that were left-handed, but the ERA does jump to 1.93. The batting average allowed, significant jump to 278 there. Slugging percentage, 389. The extra base hit percentage does drop to 40%. But overall, you see here in the small sample size we do have with Joe Boyle, he was a little bit worse versus left-handed batters. And look, like I said, I know Casas off to a slow start. 3 straight games he's cashes under. I think he's due here. Solid matchup against a young pitcher, not very experienced. I think Tristan Casas takes full advantage, and I think he gets at least a hit off of Boyle here and gets on base. Again, it's called gambling for a reason. You never know what's going to happen, but I am fairly confident that Casas delivers for us tonight here. All right, guys, our final 2 props for today's slate. We're sticking with the same game and actually the exact same player in the Giants-Dodgers game. First pitch, 10:10 p.m. Eastern time. A little rivalry there on the West Coast. We're going with Keaton Winn, the first prop. Keaton Winn over 2.5 earned runs here versus the Dodgers. Now, we are getting this at -115 on DraftKings. It's also available on Underdog and Caesars here. Again, 4 of his last 5 games, he's cashed that over, but those are all dating back to last season. You look at the head-to-head matchup here. The last time he played the Dodgers back on September 29th of last season, he gave up 6 earned runs and was a 6-2 win for the Dodgers. This is his first start of the new year, so there's no data really to go off of for this season. But you see here the Dodgers batting numbers last year. Look, this was the second best hitting team in baseball, number one on base percentage. This team got hits, they got on base, they scored runs, and that's not changing this year, okay? I know it's early in the year, but the Dodgers, this offense is probably the best offense in Major League Baseball, if not one of the best. I just don't think Keaton Wynn's going to have a fun day against this stacked Dodgers lineup. I mean, ignoring everybody else in the lineup, just Mookie Betts alone has been raking off of pitchers to start the year. Now, who knows how long that streak continues, but Mookie Betts, I think he's the best player in Major League Baseball. Why the Red Sox got rid of him, I will never know. But you see here on the right side of the screen, Keaton Wynn versus the Dodgers again. He only had one start versus them last year, but his earned runs per 9 innings was a 10.12. He gave up 6 earned runs in 5 1/4 innings versus the Dodgers last year. That was an extreme game, but I do think we could see something of a similar result here. And then sticking with that same methodology here, we're the seventh and final prop of today's slate. We're sticking with Keaton Wynn here. We're going over 4.5 hits allowed. Look, if we think he's gonna give up 3 runs in this game, I think it's fairly safe to say he'll also give up 5 hits if he's gonna give up 3 runs. This is available at -145 on DraftKings, also on Caesars for -142. And you see in that matchup versus the Dodgers where he gave up 6 runs, he also gave up 6 hits allowed. This Dodgers lineup just rakes. I have a hard time believing that Keaton Wynn is going to be able to hold his own versus Dodgers lineup. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely off. But I think he's going to be able to hold his own again. I just showed you guys the numbers there. The Dodgers, even over their last 30 games. Now, this is this year so far, and dating back to the end of last season, they were still 297 batting average as a team. Basically, I think Keaton Wynn gets shelled tonight, and that's why I'm taking both these props. And that's it for today's slate, guys. Again, as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Make sure hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, drop a comment down below, all that good stuff. Galo Mina to everybody. Hope we really do have a fantastic month here on the channel. Again, I will post the link to those picks in the description below, in the comments, actually, not the description, in the comments. I will pin the link to my outlier slip and also the hashtag ride of the day. Guys, until tomorrow when we're back with a new MLB player prop video, I hope we're all winners. Have a good one, guys.